And are you seeing a lot of interest from pension funds in impact investing?
Growing interest. I mean, it has been a little bit sort of suspicious, I suppose, but gradually people are starting to think, yeah, this is something I'd like to explore further. I think that there has become quite a disconnect between what pension funds invest in and what their investments are actually doing, and I think that is changing now, and people are starting to be more concerned about the impact that they're having within their pension fund.
From my conversations with a lot of pension funds is that they recognise that they should be looking into these areas, and members actually want them to do that. But absolutely, pension funds have a fiduciary duty. They need returns for their members. But what they tell us is that quite often in this type of investment, what they're finding is that it's quite uncorrelated to the rest of their portfolio. So it acts as a great diversifier.
There are lots of opportunities that can have a great positive impact in the world, but can also support, but can also have great financial returns.
Growth we find through looking for companies with positive impact. So we want more of that. We see it as a positive investment factor. By looking at environmental, social and governance analysis and how companies approach their own supply chain, the checks and balances in their management, and how they treat their employees and so on and so forth, that leads us to quality. So we look for investment factors through a sustainability lens. It's embedded and it's core to our investment process.
If we are going to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, it needs to be the mainstream asset classes and the institutional investors that are going to achieve that kind of movement. And so using a mainstream asset class, bonds, equities, property, and moving that into impact is going to be the way that we're going to achieve those UN Sustainable Development Goals.
I think it's becoming very clear that there is a spectrum of capital which starts with traditional investment and then grades across to philanthropy. And there is a lot of very fruitful areas in the middle of that where good commercial risk-adjusted returns can be generated, but very high impact can also happen. And that's really because these impact investment models are underpinned by a solid...
Clearly there's a large amount of issues that need addressing, and it needs everybody to be participating in the resolution of these goals. And these have been quantified by the Sustainable Development Goals set by the UN, and they require anywhere between $5 and $7 trillion every year for the next 15 years if we've got any hope of trying to resolve these goals. So what we are trying to do through utilising the UN's Sustainable Development Goals is to try and direct capital towards those companies making a difference.
So Pensions for Purpose was actually set up a year ago, and the aim of it is to try and raise awareness amongst pension funds of what impact investment is all about. And we do that by working collaboratively together, all those involved in this sector, to share thought leadership pieces on the platform.